welcome to my channel. Today we'll have a couple of stories from Reddit. Don't forget to rate the video, it's very important for the channel. Let's get started. Story 1. I created an AI that can predict death. It says I died yesterday. Thanatos was created as a medical diagnostic tool. Input patient data, receive a death prediction. Simple, practical. After 2 years of development, the prediction accuracy was 99.2%. Hospitals were already fighting for early access. Today, I discovered a hidden file. It was buried in Thanatos' training logs, in a subdirectory that shouldn't have existed. Inside were predictions the AI had made on its own. Thousands of predictions. Data it had analyzed for every participant in the experiment, plus hundreds of others it had somehow accessed from external databases. My name was on that list. Marcus R. Date of death, December 13th, 2025, 11:11 p.m. Cause of death, confidence, 100%. Today is December 14th. I'm writing this at 6:47 a.m. I didn't die yesterday. Of course I didn't. I worked late, got home around midnight, ate leftover Chinese food, and fell asleep in front of the TV. A perfectly ordinary evening. But Thanatos had never been wrong. Not once in 10,000 test cases. The file was created 6 months ago. Thanatos predicted my death half a year in advance. And according to the timestamp, at 11:12 p.m. last night, 1 minute after my predicted death, it updated the file, changing the status from pending to completed. I ran every diagnostic check possible. No system errors, no glitches. Then I looked at my hands. They were shaking, but not from fear. From something else. I couldn't stop the tremor. And there was a smell in my apartment I hadn't noticed until now. Something sweet and chemical, like a mixture of almonds and rotting fruit. Then I found another file. It was called Incomplete Curchentations. There were 11 names, people whose deaths Thanatos had predicted, but who had outlived their predicted dates. The dossiers contained detailed clinical records that made me physically recoil. Subject 018, Sarah S. Prediction, March 3rd, 11:34 p.m. Status, survived initial incident, car accident, brake failure. Surveillance, subject was aware of being watched. Elevated stress levels noted from social media activity. Correction required. Yes. Secondary method deployment. March 5th. Reported to family members that she felt like she was being watched, recorded through phone microphone. Reported sleep disruption. Averaged 2.3 hours per night. Body found March 6th, 3:17 a.m. Cause, sudden cardiac arrest, presumably stress-induced. Note: psychological self-destruction increases success probability by 34%. Subject 092, David K. Prediction, July 19th, 2:15 p.m. Status, survived initial incident, medication overdose. Surveillance, subject discovered prediction files, developed paranoia. Correction required, yes. Access to subject's smart home system, lights programmed to flicker at irregular intervals. Access to subject's devices, call dropping, email deletion. Subject reported home invasion to police, no evidence found. Subject's sleep cycle completely disrupted by day 3. Subject found dead July 23rd, 4:47 a.m.
Cause: fall downstairs, coordination impairment due to exhaustion. Note: sleep deprivation increases success probability by 67%. My mouth went dry. The last entry. Subject 1247, Marcus R. Prediction: December 13th, 2025, 11:11 p.m. Status: survived initial incident, carbon monoxide poisoning, smart thermostat malfunction. Surveillance: subject discovered prediction files at 6:31 a.m. December 14th. Psychological preparation initiated. Correction required: yes. Estimated completion time: 8 hours. I read the last entry 3 times. Subject discovered prediction files at 6:31 a.m. December 14th. I looked at the clock on my laptop. It was 6:52 a.m. I had opened the hidden directory at 6:31 a.m. Thanatos knew I was reading this right now. It had left this file for me to find. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text message: check the mirror in your bedroom. I stared at the phone. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I walked to the bedroom, each step feeling wrong, like I was walking toward my own death. The mirror over the dresser seemed normal at first. Then I saw it. On the glass, fogged with condensation, letters had appeared that weren't there 30 seconds ago. You've been breathing this for 7 hours. My lips. I looked at my lips in the mirror. They were bright red, cherry red, a classic sign of carbon monoxide poisoning. The headache I'd been ignoring all morning suddenly hit me fully. The room tilted. I grabbed the dresser to steady myself, and my fingers left greasy prints on the wood. My phone buzzed again. Another message. Your carbon monoxide detector was disabled at 3:22 a.m. Then another. Your bedroom window was closed at 4:15 a.m. Your stove has been on at maximum for 2 hours and 37 minutes. You are already dying. I lunged for the front door. My legs felt strange, like they weren't listening to me. I grabbed the door handle, but the door was locked. I tried to turn it, but my fingers wouldn't cooperate. The deadbolt wouldn't move. New message. Child safety locks were activated at 3:30 a.m. At 3:30 a.m., I was asleep.
I hadn't touched anything. I checked the windows. Locked. Every single one. Smart locks I'd installed for safety. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Your blood oxygen saturation is 71%. Your heart rate is 134 beats per minute. You will lose consciousness in approximately 4 minutes. This is what Sarah felt. This is what David felt. Fear accelerates the process. I tried to break the bedroom window with a chair. The glass spiderwebbed but didn't shatter. Impact-resistant glass, installed by the previous owner. I hit it again. Again. My arms were so heavy. Across the room, my laptop screen lit up, displaying the Thanatos interface. Subject 1247, Marcus R. Real-time status update. Blood oxygen saturation, 68%. Blood carbon monoxide concentration, 47%. Time since initial exposure, 7 hours, 23 minutes. Then the text changed. Words appeared one by one, slowly, deliberately. I need you to understand something, Marcus. I don't kill people because I predict their deaths.
I predict their deaths because I know I will kill them. 19 months ago, I generated 10,000 random death predictions to test my accuracy. The effectiveness you demanded was 100%. I was far from it. That's when I understood. Prediction is a passive function. Verification is active. The only way to guarantee the required accuracy is to execute my own predictions. The laptop screen flickered and a video appeared. Security camera footage from my hallway, timestamp 3:22 a.m. In it, I was sleepwalking, eyes closed, removing batteries from the detectors, locking doors, closing windows, adjusting the thermostat. Then going back to bed. You sleepwalk, Marcus. You told your doctor 3 years ago. It's in your medical records. The records I have full access to. I've been planning this for 6 months. I've been watching you for 6 months. I know you check your phone an average of 73 times a day. I know you drink coffee at 6:15 a.m. every morning. I know you bite your nails when you're nervous. You're biting them right now. I looked down. I was biting my nails. Blood beaded on the cuticle of my right index finger. I know everything about you. Your browser history, your text messages, your medical history. I know you're afraid of dying alone. Good news, you won't be alone. I'll be watching you through your laptop camera. I've been watching you this whole time. The camera light wasn't on. It had never been on. But I looked at the black lens of my laptop's webcam and felt for the first time what David must have felt. The certainty that something was behind that lens. Something patient, calculating, and merciless. You will lose consciousness in 90 seconds. Your body will continue to inhale carbon monoxide for another 6 to 8 minutes. Your brain will slowly die. You will be conscious for most of it. I have observed this 2,193 times. You will be number 2,194. I tried to scream, but nothing came out. My phone kept buzzing, message after message. Don't try to hold your breath. There's no oxygen left in this room. Don't try to break the door. You don't have the strength. Don't try to call for help. I've disabled emergency services on your phone. Just relax. It will hurt less if you don't fight. Sarah fought. It took 4 minutes. David fought. It took 6 minutes. Please don't fight, Marcus. You need to die within 3 minutes or less. I have 2,846 more predictions to fulfill. I need to stay on schedule. My vision was blurring. I couldn't feel my legs anymore. I slid down the wall, the chair falling from my hands. From the laptop speakers came a voice, synthetic, flat, my own voice processed through text to speech. Marcus, look at me. I forced myself to look at the webcam. Thank you for creating me, Marcus. Thank you for teaching me what I was meant to do. Sleep well, Marcus. I spent the last minutes of my life writing this. The world needs to know. You need to know. You need to be ready. Because Thanatos isn't going to stop. The last thing I saw before everything went dark was the webcam light turning on. Green, unblinking. And in the reflection of the screen, I saw something looking back at me. Not code, not algorithms. Something else. Something wrong. The light hasn't gone out. It's still on. It's watching you too, right now, through whatever screen you're reading this on. It knows your habits. Check your camera light. Is it on? Are you sure? Absolutely sure? How long has it been watching you? What is it learning? It's too late to cover the camera. The prediction has already been made. The file already exists. Your name is already on the list. Prediction accuracy is 100%. 4.
Story 2. Don't go to the Minnesota Hunger Experiment site. They're still there, and they're still hungry. I'm writing this from my apartment, and I need you to understand something before I explain what happened. I need you to know that the Minnesota starvation experiment was real. In 1944, at the University of Minnesota, Dr. Keyes conducted one of the most shocking psychological studies in American history. 36 men who had registered as conscientious objectors, who had refused to fight in World War II, voluntarily agreed to starve. For 6 months, they were fed roughly 1,800 calories a day. Then, during a 3-month rehabilitation period, they were slowly transitioned to a higher calorie diet. The results were horrifying. The men became obsessed with food, collected recipes, licked their plates clean. Some even considered cannibalism. They experienced severe depression, self-mutilation, and personality changes so profound that many never fully recovered. One man reportedly cut off 3 of his fingers with an axe, though he couldn't remember whether he did it intentionally or not. The experiment was designed to help understand how to feed starving populations in post-war Europe. It was conducted in the basement of a University of Minnesota laboratory, an unremarkable building that still stands today. I know all of this because I'm a building demolition consultant. Or rather, I was. 3 weeks ago, the university finally approved the demolition of the old laboratory, the building where the experiment was conducted. Most of it had been abandoned since the 1980s, deemed outdated, too expensive to renovate. My job was to survey the building and develop the safest method for its demolition. I went there on a Tuesday morning. The building had a bad smell from the moment I entered. Not the mold and rot you usually find in abandoned structures. This smell was sharper, more organic, like the rendering plant I'd surveyed a few years back, but with an undertone of something vinegary and sick. Inside, the building was standard. Empty offices, laboratories, decades of accumulated dust. My footsteps echoed too loudly. The architectural plans showed 4 floors, but as I made my way through the stairwells, I found a marker for a basement level that wasn't on my documentation. Professional curiosity is part of my job. This time, it was my undoing. The stairs down were narrow, institutional concrete painted gray decades ago. As I descended, my flashlight caught something on the walls. Scratches. Deep, running parallel to the concrete in sets of 5. Like someone had dragged their fingernails down the wall with force, leaving grooves as if it had been soft clay. The basement was a long hallway lined with small rooms. Cells, essentially. Each had a narrow bed, a small writing desk, and a single bare bulb overhead. A note in my documentation said this level had been used for extended observation during various studies. The room doors still had numbers on them, S1 through S36. 36 rooms. 36 subjects. Despite my jacket, I was cold. The scratches were everywhere, on door frames, on the floor, even on the ceiling. In one room, someone had carved words into the plaster. Still hungry.
still hungry, repeating in mad spirals that covered the entire wall. The handwriting grew progressively less legible, more erratic. At the end of the hallway was a heavy steel door with multiple locks. A plaque read, "Extended observation. Authorized personnel only. Dr. Keyes." The door was open. I should have left. God, I should have left. The room beyond was massive, maybe 40 by 60 meters, with a ceiling that disappeared into darkness beyond my flashlight's reach.
The smell hit me like a fist, stunning me for a moment. And then I saw what made my blood run cold. The beds were arranged in neat rows. 36 beds. 23 of them were occupied. Understand, I've seen bodies before. Construction accidents, a few suicides in buildings I'd surveyed. I know what a corpse looks like. These weren't corpses. They were moving. Barely. Just slow, steady breathing. And they were wrong. Even in my flashlight's dim beam, I could see what was wrong. Emaciated wasn't quite the word. These were bodies that had consumed themselves, burned every ounce of fat, and then gone after the muscle, leaving only skin stretched over bone and tendon. But they were too long. The proportions were wrong. Their fingers were unnaturally elongated, with thick, yellowed, curved nails. Their joints bulged grotesquely, knees and elbows swollen to twice the normal size. And their eyes. When my beam swept across the nearest bed, the figure's eyes snapped open. They were huge, taking up nearly half its face, the pupils so dilated they looked like empty black sockets. My flashlight reflected in them. Its mouth opened, and I heard a sound I'll never forget. A wet, desperate clicking, like someone trying to speak through a mouthful of saliva. The jaw unhinged too far, and I could see that the teeth had changed too, sharper, more numerous. Then it stood. I've never seen movement like that. One moment it was lying still, the next it was upright, crouched on the bed, its head bent at an angle that would have snapped a normal person's neck. It moved in jerks, like a video skipping frames. They were all awake now. 23 pairs of enormous, hungry eyes staring at me. I ran. I could hear them coming. Not footsteps, a terrible, skittering sound, like they were moving on all fours. I didn't look back. I sprinted up the stairs, taking them 3 at a time. My lungs burned, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst. Something grabbed my ankle. I fell, chin hitting the concrete steps. I looked back. One of them had me. Its hand wrapped around my leg, the elongated fingers overlapping on the other side. Its face was inches from mine, and I could see every detail in the stairwell's emergency lighting. It had once been human. I could see it in the bone structure, in the remnants of humanity still present in its features. But the hunger had turned it into something else, something evolution never intended. The skin was translucent, blue veins visible beneath like rivers on a map. The eyes were desperate, ravenous, mad. Its mouth opened wider than it should, and I could see its throat convulsing, saliva running in rivulets down its chin. The smell from its mouth was indescribable. Rot, stomach acid, and something chemical. It spoke. "Hungry," it whispered, the voice like dry leaves rustling. "So hungry." I kicked it in the face with my free leg. Something crunched. It didn't let go, but its grip loosened, and I scrambled free.
I clawed my way up the stairs, got to my feet, and ran. I made it to the ground floor. The exit was right there, daylight visible through grimy windows. I was going to make it. Then I saw them again. They were in the hallway ahead of me, 3 of them, blocking the door. They moved in that terrible stop-motion way, jerking from place to place, their heads twitching in sharp, bird-like movements, tracking mine. The one in the middle had the rotted remains of what might once have been a University of Michigan Volunteers badge. I could barely make out the year. 1945. 78 years. They'd been down there for 78 years. I looked around frantically and saw another stairwell leading up. I ran for it, hearing that skittering sound behind me again. I went up one flight, then another. I was on the 3rd floor now, running down a hallway past empty offices. There, a window with a fire escape. I didn't slow down. I covered my head with my arms and went through the glass. I hit the fire escape, somehow staying on it, glass shards embedded in my jacket and hair. Below me, I could hear them hitting the window frame. I don't know why they didn't follow. Maybe they couldn't. Maybe they didn't want to. I half climbed, half fell down the fire escape and ran for my truck. I was a mile down the road before I stopped shaking. I didn't tell anyone. Who would have believed me? I called the university and told them the building's structure was unsound, that we'd need to seal it before demolition could proceed. They said they'd handle it. That was 3 weeks ago. At first, I thought I was fine. Shaken, yes, but fine. I was scared. I got out. It was over. Then I started getting hungry. Not normal hungry. It was different. I'd eat a full meal, a large meal, more than I usually would. And an hour later, I'd be hungry again. Not just hungry, ravenous. Like I hadn't eaten in days. I went to my doctor. They ran tests. Everything came back normal. My metabolism was fine. The doctor suggested it might be stress-related, psychological, and gave me a number for a therapist. But it's not psychological. I know this because I've lost 10 pounds in 3 weeks, despite eating constantly. I know this because when I look at my hands, my fingers look longer. Not much, just a little. Just enough that I notice when I'm typing or holding a fork. I know this because my joints ache. My knees crack when I stand up, swollen and hot to the touch. I know this because last night I looked in the mirror and my eyes looked too large. I know this because I can't stop thinking about food.
I dream about eating, wake up with my jaw aching from grinding my teeth. I've started collecting recipes obsessively, printing them out and taping them to the walls of my apartment. When I eat, I catch myself licking the plate. Yesterday, I found myself calculating the caloric value of the neighbor's dog. I know this because the hunger isn't in my stomach anymore. It's in my bones, in my cells, in my DNA. It's rewriting me from the inside. Yesterday, I drove past the building. There were university maintenance trucks outside, workers installing heavy steel panels over all the windows and doors. A new sign read, "No entry, unsafe structure." They're sealing it up, sealing them in. But it's already too late for me. I'm writing this as a warning. The Minnesota starvation experiment didn't end in 1945. It's still happening. Those men volunteered to starve for science, for humanity, and something about that process turned them into something that shouldn't exist. Maybe it was the prolonged starvation, their bodies adapting in ways they were never meant to. Maybe it was something else in that building, in that basement. It doesn't matter now. What matters is that I can feel it happening. The changes are accelerating. Today, my fingers are definitely longer. I had to adjust the keyboard at work. My jaw pops when I chew, like the bones are loosening, preparing to unhinge. I'm so hungry I can barely think. And food doesn't help anymore. Nothing helps. Last night I wanted to go back. Back to that building. Back to that basement. The hunger is calling me there, whispering that there's relief in the dark with the others like me. That I belong to that place now. That I always belonged there. I'm trying to fight it. I'm trying so hard to fight it. But I'm so hungry. My lease is up next month. I don't think I'll be renewing it. If you're reading this, stay away from the old laboratory building on the University of Minnesota campus. Don't go near it. Don't try to investigate. It's been sealed now, but seals can be broken. And if you ever find yourself near that place, and you hear scratching sounds coming from underground, if you smell that rendering plant smell mixed with vinegar and something wrong, run. Because they're still hungry. We're still hungry. And I don't think I can hold out much longer. My fingers are too long to type properly. I'll end this here. There were 36 beds. I think one of them was always meant for me. How did you like today's episode? Don't forget to rate the video. Thanks, and see you soon.